What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle, the day in the world of indie games. We're checking back in on an old friend, and actually I'm pretty excited about this coverage right here. We're checking in on a game called Beneath the Mountain, a one-man project about a dwarf fortress that's holding back a never-ending tide of greenskins, trying to find the heart of the mountain before they're all destroyed. And so this time around, the game has had a bunch of stuff added to it since the last time that we played. There's new mobs, there's new enemies, there's new unit types. There's tons of new things, so I played for about an hour and a half, 2 hours on this current run, just to get us set up at the point where you can see some of the new stuff. So, for example, if you take a look, I've got one of the new geomancers right here that you can see. I haven't quite figured out yet how to unlock the... I haven't figured out how to unlock the grenadier yet. Like, I'm still working on trying to figure out how to get them unlocked, but it doesn't really give you a whole lot of prompts on how to unlock some of the things. And so, like, I've been kind of just, trying it out. I'm guessing they need like some metal or something else like that we're probably going to need to get going. But welcome on into Beneath the Mountain. We're about to take a pretty big attack. We may die on camera today. I'm pretty far into the game. I probably should have stopped a little bit sooner before I started recording. But like, here we are. The enemy battle force has indeed arrived, and they're going to be walking through all these corridors over here that are full of booby traps that I have prepared just in case the enemy comes by. Flamethrowers are going off. Poison dart traps are spearing guys. In all honesty, even if these traps only kill like 2 or 3 enemies, they still will have done their job perfectly amicably, and so it'll be acceptable. What we do need to do, though, is I need to drop a couple more traps over here. We've got like spike traps, 30 damage on trigger, 150, does more damage to larger enemies. Yeah, let's go ahead. Oh, there's enemies too close. Gotcha. Well, then put them like over here, I guess. Like, just as many of those bad betties as you can possibly fit on the front of this. And then maybe later we'll put in, like, some kind of retaining wall over here. But the traps do appear to have picked off a number of enemies, put a bunch of poison on some of them, and now they're going to run into our Dwarfish battle force. Now, the ultimate point of this game, as I previously mentioned, is to dig down to kind of like the heart of the earth and find the heart of the mountain because it's being taken over by a demon or something like that. I don't know exactly the narrative storyline, but ultimately we're trying to find like an ultimate secret treasure way down at the bottom of the world before the orcs overrun us. This game is in early access. It's developed by one guy. These waves are going to keep getting worse as the game goes along. We lost an axe guard right there. Let's queue up another one. I try to keep track of everything I lost while I'm fighting on through. These units do level up. They do get stronger. They do get higher rank. They do deal more damage. Where's my king at? He's right there. Pull him back out. King's a little bit wounded right now. We'll send him in every now and again, kind of MOBA style, to like pop off like a special ability. But actually that fight went okay for us. It did not go that bad. We managed to get him trapped up fighting on top of the spike traps, which honestly is a major strategy in this game to keep yourself alive. But they've earned themselves some R&R. And up in this top right track, you can see that there's a amount of time before we get attacked. 4 minutes. We have 4 minutes to play around with before we get attacked again. Now, I need to keep working on my dwarf suburbs. There are Z levels to this game. My miners are mining down at the bottom, and in fact, it's not going to be too long before most people notice that this game has pretty strong, Dungeon Keeper influences. In all honesty, this basically is Dungeon Keeper. The only difference being that you're playing dwarves instead of playing like an evil overlord that's trying to conquer the earth. And so I've got them down here. They are quarrying silver. They're quarrying gold. They're bringing it back up to the top to keep me paid. I also get paid a bounty for every single orc that I kill because this game has kind of like societal RPG mechanics. You can see them up here. Basically, this is the... I forget what this is called. What do they actually call this up here? Runic knowledge. So these are your runic level ups, and there are a lot of them. Most of them affect infantry and like your warriors and your casters and your traps and your people that fight. However, there are a great many ways here that you can spec your king, you can spec your infantry, you can spec your economy, you can spec your minions. Like, this is a game that I very much feel is on a good path. The only thing that you need to be warned about is that updates are fairly slow with this game, and also the developer is kind of like mums the word. Like, he doesn't really like talk on Steam or anything else, so you're not going to know when updates are coming. They just kind of happen randomly once or twice a year with more things coming along. But you've got to join the Discord, I guess, if you really want to know what's happening right this second in the world of Beneath the Mountain. But that warning aside, there's only 1 or 2 things about this game that I've found to be kind of obnoxious and annoying so far. Other than that, it's been a really fun title. And so there you go. Everybody go heal, man. We've got a tavern over here. Basically, the tavern, your dwarves can eat food, and then they get their health back up to max, and then they will redeploy back down to the spot where you put the rally flag after they eat their dinner and after they get themselves healed back up. I still have to micromanage it a little bit. What's that right there? 89 days till a 429th strength raid. Jesus, they're really throwing it at me, aren't they? Okay. We got a lot of bad guys coming on through. Is going to be the warning that you're going to get here. I've pretty much mined out the entire area up top. This game is very dark. This game is very dim because it takes place in a mountain, but you can put lanterns around to light it up a little bit. But what it's easy to forget is that dwarves have dark vision and they can see in the dark. So technically they wouldn't need lamps and things like that unless they needed to see past like 40 feet. If you wanted to get this game, the early access is available. You can 100% do that. It's available on Steam right now. And I'll do my best to get you a little link down there so that you can check that out. On top of that, you're more than welcome to swing on through on the day this video goes live. I will be streaming this game for probably 5 or 6 hours just to get even more time with it and give you guys some supplementary video in case you wanted to check it out. But let's keep on going. We got things to accomplish here. We got to find, basically the goal of the game is to keep digging down through layers. There's designated spots where you can build these stairwells that take you down to the next level. We're looking for those stairwells. I don't know exactly what floor the heart of the mountain is on, but it's pretty deep, would be my guess. Like, we really can't go any further, and so we kind of need to break into these dungeons right here and start looking around for spots where we can deploy the next stairs. This is your primary vessel for advancement through the game, especially because your silver and gold is going to run out with time as you're working your way through a specific floor. Like, you're going to mine it all away. And so there's going to be kind of like this never-ending push for you to get your minions deeper and deeper down into the ground in order to stay ahead of the enemy waves. 373 is probably not too bad. The 429 might be kind of gnarly, though. It's getting to the point where they're mostly just sending, like, elite enemies after me. I think our current battle forces will be fine for going up against the enemy. We've got kind of like a mixed force over here. So we've got ourselves, these right here, like our shield dwarves. These guys have tower shields. They are tanky. They're very difficult to kill. We have slayers in here, berserkers. We have crossbowmen in the back. These guys are actually really underrated. Make sure you have a lot of crossbowmen. The crossbowmen have a particular mechanic that makes them really, really useful, and that is kind of like the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So the bigger the enemy is, the more these crossbowmen hit for with my current spec, if I remember correctly. And so these guys right here, they deal normal damage against like goblins, orcs, stuff like that. But when you get to like the big blackguard orcs, or you get to like cyclopses and like the big guys that tend to bust up your line super hard, they actually deal like huge amounts of damage to the big guys. We do have a level up to play around with. Our infantry track is almost full, actually. I'm probably going to wait on spending points on infantry because I've only got 2 slots left. I'd kind of like to save them for late game units. Like, I've used a lot of these slots making my warriors a lot better, like my shield guys, so that they can hold the line while all the guys in the background kind of like nitpick at the enemy. And so we may want to wait a little bit on putting that right there. I have been neglecting my mining, and so some more mining might not be a bad idea. Miners who open an unexplored cave get a bonus of 250 gold is pretty good. We are going to be opening up some caves, so I'll probably take that. There's also cultural things that I can throw out here, but we don't have any points. In cultural things, I've made it so that like we get a lot more taxes, we have a lot more damage versus orcs, and also we get paid for killing orcs, because I found that keeping my money balanced is kind of a headache from time to time. In fact, it might be a better idea just to put a mining camp down in here so that they work faster. There we go. I'm going to put a mining camp down in here. They're having to run a really long way in order to drop off the money back at the mining camp that's in our central base. And so I think putting that right there will probably help out with that stopgap as well. Ooh, there's even more over here. Yeah, dude, we got like a really, really good cave for earning money. I need to knock this wall down, but there are also non-orc enemies that are inside these little chambers, just like if you've played any other Dungeon Keeper game. It can be like zombies. It can just be a cave full of like a zombie army of humans. It can be a cave full of like rotworms. It can be a cave full of all kinds of bad, terrible, and terrifying things. So keep that in mind. There we go. Now their drop-off point is like way, way, way closer, so our economy should really benefit from this right here. The game also has rail systems. You can see them on this floor right here. I've built a rail system that allows my units to move around faster just about anywhere inside my territory. And in fact, you can design it as a big loop that has just little break-off areas where they can turn off, kind of like a freeway off-ramp, wherever they want to get off. A few more units are going to be coming on in. Our money is starting to flow. We've got enough engineering parts that I can probably put in some more traps. I would also recommend, like, let's get a lantern or two just kind of like in the trap area, because I can't particularly see where I'm building traps right now. So if we could illuminate these little areas just the tiniest bit, it would probably be helpful in figuring out where I want to put stuff. Now, the orcs may destroy those. They haven't targeted this one, even when they've come through here, so I don't know if lamps are actually untargetable, but they may target them. One thing you will run into this game, still got rough pathfinding. This is this thing that I keep coming back to over and over again with this game. In all builds, pathfinding. The pathfinding is not so great. What you'll notice is enemies or allies bump into each other. They slide around. They seem to have trouble navigating around one another. They try to move through one another, but they all have collision, and they all have, like, presence in the game world. And so they tend to, like, push and slide one another around. It used to be a problem in combat as well, but they seem to have fixed that. The orcs don't push you around nearly as much as they used to, but still, a lot of the time you're going to not be using your entire DPS on the enemy battle force, because you'll have a bunch of guys in the front that are fighting and a bunch of guys in the back that are just kind of like stuck rubbing all over each other. And so you'll need to like manually take guys in the back and tell them to flank around and attack from the sides and whatnot, because they won't just like find a new path to the nearest enemy after the initial attack order is given, like they would in something like Command and Conquer or a game like that. So just keep that in mind while you're playing. But by and large, that's the one big thing about the game that needs to be fixed, is the slidiness of the units when interacting with one another. I think you could fix it with a formation system, in all honesty, if you took this right here and you right-click and drag just like you would in Rome Total War, and it put them into a grid with the defensive units automatically in the front and the ranged units automatically in the back, and the berserkers and the DPS units automatically on the flanks. I think that would probably help out as well, because then their auto-targeting would just make them attack whatever's closest, and they would naturally do their roll kind of on accident. But that's kind of where I'm at with it right now. We can put down walls over here, and I don't think it's like a terrible idea, actually, to have walls with like traps in front of them. We won't get them built in time, but definitely getting ourselves kind of like cordoned off from the orcs doesn't feel like the worst of ideas. However, these barricades are quite expensive, and so maybe not. We'll wait and see. Let me see what happens with this 373. This 420 right here is actually kind of terrifying too. We need to build up our population, so we're going to need a few more dwarfish suburbs, basically. So I'll add a couple more burbs right there now that we have some money flowing, and that'll give the engineers something to work on over the course of the next day or two. I absolutely love the architecture in this game. Architecture? Architecture. Miner has died. How'd a miner die? Wait, what? Why is a miner dead? Why did a miner die? I don't see a dead miner in here. Where's the dead miner at? I probably could have clicked on it and it would have taken me to it, and I didn't think about it fast enough. Rotworms. Okay, send a couple guys over here to deal with the rotworm problem. I forget. There's rotworms down in here, and they're trying to mine that block right there. We're going to have to deal with the rotworms. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So we'll send the dwarf warriors in. Let them shoot a couple arrows at them. There we go. They should die pretty quickly, and we should be able to redeploy back to where we want to be by the time these guys are all slain, hopefully. They are going to do a little bit of nominal damage to our HP, but that's life. We'll wait and see when this wave comes in. We got 0 minutes left. We'll see when they pop in on the bottom of the map, and I'll try and reinforce the direction that they're coming from. One of the big changes in this game that didn't exist the last time I played it, the last time I played this game, there was only one corridor. So you were only, it was kind of like a hold the wall game the last time I played it, almost like a stronghold game. Enemies had one path, and they were attacking you from that path, and you had to fight them off. No longer the case. The game was really easy back then when you were only defending one path. Now you can see we're defending 1, 2, 3. I don't think 4. There's one right there. Okay, they're coming through that way. Are any of them going to break off and go this way? They are. They are indeed going to break off and go that way. All right, let's deploy some traps. We do have acid traps. That'd be pretty sick. We do have bomb traps as well. The bomb traps are quite pricey, but we may get better mileage out of them. Yeah, we'll put in bomb traps along some of the chokes, I guess, here. Just have a little bit of fun with it. I don't know if I can put those in right there. Okay, so put in like some baby spike traps right there. Fill in that area with baby spike traps, and that should be good enough for this wave, I think. Unfortunately, these little goblins like to get out in the front, and they trigger all your traps before everybody else gets there. It can be a little bit of a headache, but we're really just trying to soften these guys up before they arrive. There you go. The knockback's good. You guys come down here. You want to fight them on the traps. There we go. The traps do not affect us. However, the traps do indeed affect the enemy. So these traps, they reset like every 20 seconds or so, and that 30 supplementary damage that they do is actually like a really big deal, although it looks like we're losing right now. I don't know. It's going to kind of depend. We've lost a couple of guards and a tunnel scout. Why are my tunnel scouts up in melee fighting? Tunnel scouts, get out of there. What are you doing? Yeah, you should not be in there, tunnel scouts. You guys pull on back. If you have to, arrow a guy right there. The king is apparently all busted up, so we'll send him back to the tavern to heal real quick. Everybody else is just going to have to hold. Yeah, we're folding pretty good right now. Unfortunate. If we end up folding right here, I'll just show you the beginning portions of the game so you can see what that looks like too. You guys pull back over here, defend the tunnel scouts, would you? Yeah, things aren't looking good for the next big wave. It's going to get ugly. We'll keep throwing money at the problem, but there are still 14 enemies on the grid, and if we don't deal with them, we're going to have a real bad time. King's almost healed back up. All right, King, get on in here. I think we're going to need walls before too long. I think it's a good plan. We do have some survivors, which is nice, and for the bigger enemies, we are getting paid right now. Next wave, we've got how long? 9 minutes? We can prep for it. We can prep for it. It'll be all right. Yep, wipe these dudes out. All right, pull these guys on back. That was a big wave. Now it's time to kind of like grab our guys and see what we have left. We lost a big chunk of our battle force right there. We lost like 12 guys. So there's going to be a rebuilding period. We'll keep the building queue all nice and pepped up. Each of these takes about 20 seconds, so we're getting 3 a minute. So technically we should be able to repopulate in the 9 minutes before these guys arrive all the way back on up. But I do think that for now, a solid choice would be to maybe run some walls. Something like that right there. I would not actively be against. Just to sort of bolster us from whatever direction they might come from. The engineers are going to have to handle it, but we're going to have to hope. We've got like no veterancy left for this next wave. Although I guess our battle grid looks a little bit better than I expected. I don't know, the enemy outnumbers you by such enormous quantities that like it gets a little scary sometimes. Luckily our economy seems to be humming along. These guys could probably use some rail carts to get back faster. There's a lot of silver over there. We do have a little bit of time to crack this cave open too. Let's do that. So we've got, what, 8 minutes till we have to deal with the next orc issue. You guys come down, and you guys come over here. We're going to cancel all this digging real fast, and we're just going to have them pop the cork on this room real quick. Then we'll re-queue all that stuff back up. I'm going to need another lamp as well. There is a talent in this game that makes lamps build instantly without the need for an engineer, but it felt like a weird talent to take, man. Like, it felt like a talent maybe I didn't want to take, just because, like, instant lamps, it's nice for scouting, but, like, you guys get out of there, you guys get out of there. It looks like we found goblins in the cave. Okay. Goblins shouldn't be too much of a threat. You guys get back over here and start mining away at these goodies, please. Because I likes the goodies. I likes to get them. They should be able to handle goblins, no problem, I think. Yeah, they'll get it done down here. It's just gonna take a minute. And this is the fundamental core gameplay loop of the entire title, is that you're trying to balance your time with, like, opening up caves and healing your units and repopulating your army in between, like, every single fight, and also defending against, like, those giant waves that are just crashing into you over and over and over again. And believe me, they are relentless. I'm on the normal difficulty right now, and I would say that about every 7 minutes in-game, I'm fielding an attack, basically, that I've got to defend from. All right, there we go. All those guys are gone. Apparently, I accidentally scooped in some of my miners, too, that were fighting in there. That's fine, dude. Everybody deserves to get a little bit of dwarfish glory. We'll send them back over to the tavern. We'll get them healed. We'll take a look at the queue over here. Queue looks okay. Give me a couple more berserkers in there. Queue looks fine to me. And then once we've got a little bit more cash money cheddar stacks coming in, I'm going to try to wall all this off. I don't know if it's going to work out that way, but I'm going to give it the old go. It's going to be a lot of money, like, getting that wall back every single time that I need it, though. Like, I don't think they rebuild the walls automatically from what I recall. And so we're going to have to rebuild them using, like, cold, hard cash each time, which kind of worries me a little bit. I do need to find there are a number of buildings in this game. There are a lot of things for you to build. One of the new things they've added is a religion system where you can put down various shrines. I haven't played around with it too much, but you can put down shrines, and the shrine is like, pew, and it, like, blesses a dwarf. And then you can take, like, perks in your magic tree that make it kind of, like, restore multiple dwarves at the same time. Stuff like that. I think there's, like, a healing shrine in here. I think there's, like, a bunch of random things. Actually, is there a healing shrine? I might be mixing that up with a different game. I think I have it mixed up with a different game, the healing shrine. I think the healing shrine was in a different title. We'll try to get some of that done right there. I don't know if we'll get all these done. Some of these guys are taking a lot longer to train, so it may or may not work out. We do have 2 points to play around with. I don't know what I want to do with those 2 points, but I think I'll probably upgrade my king. Yeah. Let's go ahead and give him, like, I've noticed his health has been going down pretty aggressively in fights, so maybe we give him a couple of things. Maybe we give him a couple of things that make him a little bit more resilient. Yeah, so I'll reduce his damage by 15%, and then we'll also make it so that he gets a shield every time he gets hit for 50% of the armor that he's got. That should actually, between those two things, that should make him very, very, very mitigative. Like, he should be able to really take care of business. I don't know if anybody's actually using their healing potions. All of my guys have healing potions, but they don't seem to, like, use them. I don't know. It's tough to say. Everybody seems to have healing potions, but they don't seem to, like, use them, even though they're, like, highlighted or whatever. So it's one of those things that I haven't had a chance to play around with and figure out how to fix just yet. Other buildings that we can build at the moment? Not much, actually. We're kind of broke. Kind of broke at the moment. I would like to not be broke. Let's go ahead and build some minecarts to help them out with moving stuff around from this end of the dungeon. That'll probably do. Yeah, just like a little... You'll see right here, they'll jump on and be like, whee, when they want to go back and drop stuff off. And it actually does make your dwarves a lot more efficient. It's like a 300% movement speed buff for just like the line that they're running on. They'll also use it for general transit, like if they need to get around or they need to like move to a new work location. Perfectly fine. They don't mind it at all. We still got a lot of money lined up over here. The downside is, if you look, there's a little hammer next to all the stats on that right there. The little hammer is the hardness of the rock, and so it resists their pick damage basically. And so I have a perk on them that makes them use mining charges randomly when they crit to lower the hardness of the stone. I haven't watched to see how good it is, but it seems to not be as good as another perk that automatically lowers the hardness whenever they crit with a pick. So like, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to play around with it too much. I did like 2 runs prior to the recording of this run that's like an hour and a half into the game, just to like practice and figure out where things were at again so that I wouldn't stumble over my words and look like an idiot on the internet for the nth time. Are there any other good nodes around here? I mean, 40 hardness is not that helpful. They should probably... Oh my god, we got 2 tunnel guards down here just like sitting around. Let's bring them back up to the surface. They need to be... Yeah, tunnel guards, you need to be over here, guys. Like, big time. Tunnel guards this time, I don't know. My tunnel guards look like they were in melee last time for some reason. They must have just been, like, arranged weird. I don't know. We'll keep them in the back this time. I'm not feeling solid about my infantry corps right now. We're still not back to where we were before the last time we got hit. We were sitting at 45 or 46, I think. And so, with 3 minutes remaining, we may get there, we may not. I'll keep units kind of like churning out because we have the pop cap for it. But at this point, another intelligent decision might be adding another barracks so that I can double train units. That would also be something that I would kind of lean towards. Like maybe that would not be an awful play. However, it looks like I don't actually have like an open building spot where I could drop the damn thing. I could put it right there. That'd work. Do it. Give me another barracks so that I can double Stampy's out units. If we survive this wave, we'll be okay with 2 barracks. I don't know. How do you pluralize barracks? I think it's just like you add an apostrophe. I think barracks is both like singular and plural. I don't know, dude. English is a crazy language. I don't know anything about my own language. What else do we have? Rage fire flasks. We've got potions purchased by your units cost less gold. Mushroom farms make food faster. I don't think we're going to need that. We've got unbelievably sticky tar. Deadly poisons. Yeah, getting more damage off my poison traps might not be a bad idea. I did research gunpowder, and I'm like really curious. I don't have any forges. I need to get some forges going for advanced units. That's what I need to do. I don't really have a spot for the forges, though. We're going to have to get all that dirt over there, but that dirt has no money in it, and so I've been trying to avoid wasting productive time mashing things out on that side because there's no money to be made. One of the big balances you're going to have to play with in this game a lot of the time is like, how do I use my units to clear space when clearing that space makes no money, but I need money like all the time in order to keep the game going. And so I don't have the money, but I need the money. Versus when do I mine locations that have like high hardness and take a long time, but have very high yield. There's all kinds of interesting considerations in this game that you got to play around with. So we got heavily armored orcs in 15 minutes, but they're not an elite group. So we just have to survive this guy right here, and we'll see how it goes. I don't know if we'll survive it, in all honesty. 429 is pretty strong. I probably should have mashed out this barracks a lot sooner, and that would have made this a much more simpler task, but oh well, such is life. Did I lose an engineer? I feel like I lost an engineer, man. It definitely feels as though I lost an engineer. So we got like a berserker and like a shield dwarf over here. Just keep units going out. I mean, we've doubled our unit production here, so that's good. That means that for 8 minutes I can put out like 30 or 40-ish units instead of like 20 or 25 units, so that'll help. Traps. Let's upgrade our traps. Poison dart traps deal more damage. Yeah, that could be useful. Let's go with better bomb traps. We did put down a lot of bomb traps previously. I need some taxes to come in, too. I needs my money. I needs my taxes. I needs it right now. Dwarves are greedy for gold, but not for the reasons one might assume. What are my little dwarves doing down here? All right, so you guys are not mining right now, and I need you guys to change that, like, right this second. I can't really see down in here to figure out what's productive, so it's possible we may accidentally knock down a wall that unleashes great and powerful cosmic horrors and worries on us. But it looks like there's just a chasm right there. Yeah, you guys get productive over here. There you go, miners. That's why I have no money coming in. The miners are not mining right now. They're simply pining for a place in which to do said mining. Luckily, this is very soft over here with loads of money in it. So we should see like a really large infusion of cash to the coffers. I am going to build a railway that runs all the way down to here in just a minute. But we'll let them walk it for a little bit till I get some cash going. Because I think it's like 15 bucks per section of rail. And that's not going to be enough to get them all the way down to here. But each of these guys should have 45 on them. I should probably make like 3 or 4 more miners too. Well, 30-ish on each of them. Better than nothing. Love that cash sound, by the way. Absolutely great cash sound. Like the clinking of coins feels very, very nice and pleasant. All right, warriors, keep it going. I mean, we managed to recover from the last time we fought. Hopefully it keeps going that way. I put down some wall sections, but man, I don't know if it's going to help. Let's wait till this wave gets here. Here comes the orcs. They have arrived, so where are they at, dude? They're coming in from one of our lesser defended directions, which is a little bit of a bummer. We'll just kind of have to hope that there's re-triggers on some of those. Flamethrower trap definitely thinned them out a little bit, so that's nice to see. Knocking them back a little tiny bit. All right, boys, this is it. Get on in there. Just don't trap the king. If you guys trap the king, that's not going to be great. I want you guys right there, firing arrows. We should have a whole bunch of guys filling in the gap, and all these guys right here are now benefiting. His war shout is giving them a shield too, which is really, really good. So that'll be helpful. Downsides here is that we are not currently protected by our traps. The enemy is not standing on the traps, so we're going to have to kill them the old-fashioned way with just a whole bunch of dwarfish brawn, basically. I did want to see the grenadiers before we go, because that's a unit that I'm really interested in. The king is wounded, so we're going to have to pull him out. Go get yourself... Man, I was hoping that those additions to the king's arsenal would make him a bit more fearsome. They would make him a little bit scarier. Unfortunately, it didn't work like that. Micro him a little bit. All of you guys in the back on the big guy right there. There we go. Get the big guy over there. Look at that damage bonus they get for killing big guys, dude. They get such a huge damage bonus. So if you micromanage them, you can absolutely just whittle through these waves. That's honestly my advice, is just like let your warriors fight and hold the line. Don't micro them at all. And then micro the hell out of your archers, because they just delete people, dude. Especially with like dangerous targets like the mage over there. Our losses that time were actually not nearly as bad as they were in that first fight. We actually kept a lot of guys on their feet that time for a wave that was actually much gnarlier and came through a corridor that was much less defended. I was hoping they would come through these corridors down here. I haven't gotten to these ones yet because you're always limited. Oh my god, we're full on money right now. I was going to say you're always limited on money, but okay, never mind. Let's kind of drop some of you over there. Yeah, just make it a little bit more painful for them, you know what I mean? And then we'll drop in... Oh, I ran out of engineering parts. But among the new things they've added to the game since the last time I've seen it, they added clan spears, they added grenadiers. I think the berserkers were in last time. I think the iron guards were in last time. So yeah, they've added the clan spears, they've added the grenadiers, they've added these geomancer guys right here. They've also added rune priests, which I haven't even gotten to yet, but rune priests were in the game the last time we played. I think they were the newest thing that they had just added, but it's all new to me. We'll check it out on stream though. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day, so you don't have to. Today it was Beneath the Mountain. I like this game a lot. Dwarves are my favorite fantasy race by a long shot. Like, it's not even like a competition. And so games like this are always infinitely entertaining for me. I'm also a big fan of stronghold style games where you're just like holding a fortress for as long as possible against insurmountable odds. Let's have a look at this grenadier over here. What's he look like? Oh, he's got a gat, dude. He's got like a big old gun. Hell yeah. I didn't know he was going to come with a gun, dude. I thought he was just going to be like a grenadier, you know? Walking around with fuses and bombs, throwing them at everybody. Hell yeah. But anyways, I will see you all next time. Thank you for hanging out with me. That's about all the time I've got for the day. I'll see you on stream. Bye, folks.